Welcome everybody to this edition of Racing to Win. Nice to have your company as we prepare to preview a big 10 race card coming up at Sha Tin. We've got a mixed program with some all-weather action and races on the turf as well. And I can tell you C+3 for the rail position as I welcome Graham Cunningham and Paul Lally to the program. And gentlemen, firstly starting with you, Graham, the Kowloon Cricket Club Centenary Cup, our feature, and you've rolled your arm over, I think, at the Kowloon Cricket Club.
And hits a few runs.
Oh,
great to be back on the good ship Racing to Win with Commodore Davis and first mate Lally. And if it's Sunday in Hong Kong, Frankie Law has to have a big runner, and he does in the feature event this Sunday.
That he does. Yeah, no jackpots to report, Paul, but we've also got a good simulcast coming through from Japan.
Oh, we have. We've got, so it's an 11 race card really with a 10 here and the one Japanese race. A couple of old favourites in there like Let's Go Donkey. Of course, this is the race Hero Velocity won a few years ago as well. So we know the race quite well. A couple of really interesting first starters in this meeting. I quite like a couple of them, but there is a whole host.
Yeah, I get the feeling there's going to be one particular horse, Graham, that's going to be quite short first starter.
Early on in the card, I think race 2, Voyage Warrior. He bust the clock in a barrier trial a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to be a pretty short price, I feel.
Yeah, he certainly is. As I mentioned, C+3, as we take a look at the full information for the car, there's quite a few scratchings to check as well. Now, race 2, scratch 2, Travel Emperor and 13 Star Superior. So the field has now been reduced in the second. The third, Happy Out There, is out, replaced by Starlet for Derek Lung. We go to race 5, Gold Mission out, Little General in, Grant Van Neerkerk is the rider. And then we go to race 8 and Lone Eagle's scratched. He's not replaced in that Class 3 over 1,200 metres. 10 races, as Paul mentioned, the race from Japan will be jammed in between 4 and 5. S11 is the code for that, the Takamatsu Namir Kanen. 8 on the turf, C+3, 2 on the all-weather. At this stage, both tracks expected to be good, but weather's always variable, no doubt, as we know. All right, let's have a look at the lineup for the first. It's Sunday racing from Sha Tin and meeting number 57. Flying Noble, Class 5, last start winner, heads the weights for the Takshing Handicap. Sure Wind drops in class. We've got Blinkers going back onto Royal Prerogative. It's his second run for the new stable of Tony Millard. Run Moochie was a very impressive trial winner with Blinkers on for Joe Moreira, who does ride on race day. And then down the bottom, Triumphant Light's gone from David Ferraris to Paul O'Sullivan since his last start. Ruminaire and Gobi Storm down the bottom. So Class 5 to kick off. There's been a number of horses up and back to Chun Fa. Flying Noble, Winning Circle, Best Effort, and also Ambitious Speedy. Class 5, Graham, it's 1,400. They normally skip along in the Class 5 company.
And I think we can look to the bottom of the weights for the front runners here. Gobi Storm and Ruminaire both have plenty of speed, both natural front runners. Triumphant Light harder to map because he's changed yards since last time, as you said. I think it's pretty straightforward for Flying Noble. On the back of a good win last time, he's got a good cruising speed. He'll settle in behind.
First one we'll look at here is Royal Prerogative. Now, the blinkers go back on him. He's racing or working with our Tautu's, the one closest to us. But Royal Prerogative, he's quite well rated now, having a second start for the stable and should get a good run. And looking at that speed map, Regan Bayliss from Barrier 1. Adonis generally works well, and there's no worries with him down the back straight as well. Ben So will take the mount. He ran nicely enough on the all-weather last time, but they're switching back to the turf here for 1,400 metres. But he's a fit horse, and a Wonderful Tiger, another one that does stretch out nicely, but he's a 22-start maiden, Wonderful Tiger. One of these ones that can work well in the mornings, but just needs to reproduce that on race day.
Yes, it is Class 5 company, as Paul was just once again highlighted. Let's start at the top. Flying Noble is a last start winner. We know Best Effort can be competitive in this grade. Big Bully, he's had the one placing from 10. Dennis Yipyard, of course, 700 winners Wednesday night.
Absolutely, and a big chance, several big chances on Sunday's Sha Tin card. This is a fluent performance from Flying Noble. It was Class 5, he's 2 from 4 in that grade, but he always looked like he was going to pick up Best Effort. Best Effort ran really well in defeat. A Big Bully further back, got some traffic problems, then didn't pick up. But this is another case of Flying Noble, a horse who dropped well down the weights, Paul, but he's still pretty well treated on some old form.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his last win last one was there, but the win before that, he's only had the 2, was off this rating. So he's been there, done that before, Flying Noble.
He's got £6 more to carry, but I don't think that'll go too far to stopping him. Adonis, he's hard to follow. This guy can be very hit-miss. That's probably why he's in this class. This was better from him on the dirt last start, but Prior to this, he went terrible behind Diamond Legend.
Yeah, I'm just worried about this horse on the turf. I think he's better on the all-weather as Adonis. Royal Prerogative got lost. He had the Apprentice on him. He got well back there. He's in the red colours, and I thought he finished off really nicely with the senior jockey from Barrier 1 and blinkers back on. There's a few ticks there.
I think Royal Prerogative's a player here.
Yeah.
It's only his second run for Tony Millard. He's dropped a long way down the weights. I think he can go well.
Yeah, I've got him in the tips as well. As we move on to Run Moochie, probably the most interesting runner in this race because he's 8 and zip on the scorecard. Hasn't raced since late January. Cheek pieces off. Blinkers were on in this trial, as was Joe Moreira. He led all the way and won by a country mile.
Yeah, it was a really good trial from him. He's dropped 23 pounds body weight. Cheek pieces off, the blinkers on for the first time. The horse running second is Meridian Genius, and he came out and ran really well last Sunday, so it was a good trial. He hasn't done it on race day yet from his starts, but if he can reproduce that, he can be in the finish.
Well, that's the big question, is it? Can he reproduce that on race day? Triumphant Light, as you touched on, Graham, and I also as well did, that he's changed stable since his last start.
He's 1 from 44 overall, so he's pretty well exposed. Second here, a couple of starts ago, then faded. Trial is OK here, not knocked about. Perhaps the most significant fact about him is that Zach Purton sticks with him, having ridden Flying Noble to victory last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, that one. And he is that win did come in Class 4 as well, so he has won at a higher grade before, has Triumphant Light.
A lot of the times he goes forward. That trial suggested maybe he might go back, but then again, it was just a trial. Maybe it was just a little hit out. Who did you side with in the end, Paul?
Well, I was with Royal Prerogative for his first start with the new stable because I really liked his track work leading into it. He got a bit lost and they put a senior rider on now from Barrier 1. I'll stick with him. I think he can run well. Triumphant Light, just that significant jockey booking there with Zach Purton aboard. Flying Noble, he's in form, and Run Moochie in there for 4th on the back of that trial. So 6, 11, 1 and 8 for me.
I'm 1, 6, 10 and 12. I'm looking at that Run Moochie trial thinking, Graham, why haven't you got him in the numbers? But Flying Noble is bang in form. Royal Prerogative has dropped so far down the weights. Millard's bound to squeeze a bit of improvement from him. Best efforts consistent. Ambitious Speedy's running well. The play QQP 1, 6, 10, 12. Flying Noble on top.
I got similar numbers floating around. I ended up tipping Flying. Royal Prerogative again, like you, Paul. I'm going to give him one more chance with a change of surface.